Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel here on our weekly podcast of Global Conquerors Conquest, episode 22. As you see, once again, we have another special guest, and we'll get to that in a moment. But of course, it's your host, SMGFrenzy, joined with your co-host,
AssassinADC, like always.
And this week, our special guest is Global Conquerors former Rainbow Six captain and streamer, Mr. Frioleros, Brian. Say hello to everybody.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Exactly, and if you don't know, he was on the team from 2017 when we were founded all the way till 2021 when we... 20...
Or whatever, when did we close?
2020, end of 2021,
I think.
Yeah. It was when we had our last video.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was most well known for leading the team's Rainbow Six division, but after that was one of our main streamers in the organization, and you can see him actually present in some of our videos. Most notably in some of our Halo videos, some that are active and some that are no longer on the channel for certain reasons.
God.
A lot has changed.
Yeah. But Brian, if you want to give like a quick introduction to yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, as he said, I'm Mr. Frijoleros, also known as Brian, as my actual name. Still kind of do my stuff on the side, not really too much. It's really just whenever I get a minute, I can record and post something of my liking. You can follow me on my TikTok, got all my FIFA clips, everything. That's all I'm focusing on right now, is improving what I got right now in FIFA. Because shooters, I've gone downhill. I would say that now. I cannot play Rainbow Six Siege as well as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But no, pretty much just follow me on TikTok. That's what I need. And then followers on TikTok.
Gotcha. And we will include the link to your TikTok, in our description. But also, just a quick rundown how Brian got dragged into the organization.
Well, wait. Let's talk about that like at the end. Let's get to the podcast.
Sure.
Yeah, it should be like the last thing we talk about it. So let's.
Yeah, well, we'll do that at the end. So we'll do.
So we say we clean and it's just not clustered, and
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get to that, but we'll make more sense. So just let's get to the podcast, and then we'll get to so we have more time to talk about him and his perspective on things. So let's just get right to it. So go ahead.
We'll go into our first category, as always, the esports and gaming category for first news, which is the Minecraft movie. I'm sure if both of you have been on Twitter lately, you might have been seeing photos from the sets leaking. We've seen real life Minecraft trees. We know much of the cast has some pretty big names, like I believe Jack Black, Jason Momoa, Emma Myers. So they have a stacked cast. At least visually, it seems to look good. What are you guys expecting for this movie that's supposed to be coming out in next year?
I'll go first. Well, I expect it to be a comedy movie, especially if Jack Black is. I would assume he's being casted as the main character, Steve. I think, hopefully. But from the leaks and stuff of the set, it looks. I mean, they're really going into detail with these plants. I think it was a tree that got leaked, if I remember, but it looked really realistic.
Yeah.
So I guess they really are putting that much time into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they got a good cast. I mean, everyone's really good, especially Jack Black. If he's casted as the main character, I mean, you would expect the movie to be a comedy movie at that point. So, I mean, it looks good. I mean, well, the set looks good. So, I hope the visual, when it's fully done, and when it comes out, it looks really good. So I will be watching it once it gets an actual release date. They just said it's coming out next year, right? They just don't have an official release date.
Actually, there is. It is April 4th, 2025.
So about a year, roughly. What are we? We're on the 8th.
So
yeah.
Just a little bit under a year,
yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not gonna put too much hope into it, just because I hate really going into a movie expecting a lot, and then at the end watching it and not feeling that same enjoyment or satisfaction I thought I was gonna feel. So I'm gonna go in as a easy watcher. I'm gonna try not to criticize it too much, but also not really going in with too much expectation of it being one of the greatest movies or anything for that year. But the casting wise, I will agree it is pretty stacked. I do like it. Like Angel said, it's probably going to be comedy. I don't think it's going to be 100% comedy, but there is going to be a lot of comedy relief because of the main character. If it is Jack Black as Steve, we're going to have one of those kind of 1-2 punches with the other cast. Like most traditional movies, he tends to be. It's not always just him. He tends to have a really good connection with another actor in the movie that he's with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going in too expecting the greatest film ever, because we've seen that happen with other stuff whenever they make video game movies or video game into movies. It's never always a really good thing. I think the only one that kind of did a good job was is just most recently. Trying to remember what it was called. What most recent movie did we have that was video game adapted?
There was
Adapted? Was it
3 good ones recently. There was the Super Mario movie, there was
the
the
mall?
Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and then there's the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
The Five Nights at Freddy's one, I will say it wasn't bad, but it also, if you look at it as a film perspective, it's not great either.
No, yeah.
It had its flaws, but obviously, my example. I mean, I used to love Five Nights at Freddy's. I grew up with it, so going into that movie, it was really just nostalgia for me. It wasn't really me trying to criticize how good the film was or how the pace was in it. I was just going in, experiencing it as if I was a kid again.
Mhm.
I didn't watch the Super Mario movie, but I did hear a lot of good things about it. So it's one of those things where I'm hoping it's like that, where they execute it at a perfect way,
Mhm.
that it doesn't disappoint a lot of people. Even if you're going in with nausea, there is that backup that it has, that it was a pretty decent film behind it.
Mhm. No, it's definitely reasonable. I think I find it interesting that this is going to be a live action adaptation of Minecraft when Minecraft gives them the beautiful template of already being computer generated. So I feel like it would have made sense to just do this as a CGI movie, as we've seen like in
Just
Minecraft
voiceovers.
shorts. Yeah, like voiceovers. It could have been like Jack Black, as we know, obviously has his like live action prominence, but he also is like known for being the voice of Poe in Kung Fu Panda. So he's
Yeah,
clearly
Bowser.
also a good,
and
yeah,
Bowser.
Bowser in
Bowser.
Mario movie. So he's clearly also a very good voice actor. And Minecraft seems like the type of thing, especially with how they're going hard on the sets, and the sets look like Minecraft. So it's gonna be weird having the blocky
Aesthetic.
sets with a real human on it, and it's like,
They should have got that one TikTok star that looks like a block. I don't know his actual name, but
mhm.
he makes
No,
videos.
yeah, I know you're talking
Yeah, I
about
know.
the one with the blocky
Uh,
head.
yeah, he has a blocky head, and then that guy should have been like main, but it's alright.
No, yeah, it's,
Uh,
it's it's a weird juxtaposition having the very blocky Minecraft world with a very not blocky human. It looks out of place on Minecraft, but maybe they'll make it work somehow. We just have to wait and see about
like
a year's worth.
like Brian said, it's really hard for movie or games being made into movies because they really don't end up being that good,
Mhm,
or like nowhere near to like any of the original stories.
mhm.
So like you said, I mean, he's going. If you're really a true fan, you really don't go into this like as a hardcore like fan. You just gotta go in and watch it like just like a casual, not think much of it.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I don't think it'll be bad. I mean, if the cats are good, I would assume they're putting a lot of like effort into it. Because if they went, I mean, if they did the casting, this is the cast. And I mean, I don't. I hope it's good.
Mhm.
It's just be another movie turned into, or a game turned into a movie.
Yeah.
But we'll see
I
what.
feel like they might be trying to go into the Disney route. How they just recently did those live action movies for a bit,
Yeah.
so they might have taken a bit of inspiration off of that. And I don't know, like Angel saying, I don't know how they're gonna make it work in,
Mhm.
because it's really a weird concept to kind of understand when you, like you said, it's a block game and you bring it into a world where there's a lot of circle.
Mhm.
So it's kind of weird,
No, yeah.
but we'll see. If
Well,
they do it right, they'll do it good.
Oh wait, are they gonna make them into blocks like characters?
I
Or that just look
doubt it
gross?
because it's supposed to be live action, and I imagine they're not gonna like edit Jack Black to look like a block, which would be
Yeah.
interesting.
It
But
would be hilarious, but if the set looks like Minecraft, why not fully go with it? I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Once they fully drop official trailer, I would assume they'll drop it sometime later this year.
If
Or
anything, I think what they might do is that he might be somebody playing Minecraft and then gets transported into Minecraft. I can see that
Maybe.
happening
that would
100%.
be the most basic way to do it because the Mountain G. Well, yeah, see, that's what I would expect,
That's pretty much what's going to happen.
Mhm.
but I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll talk about it once the official trailer drops,
Yeah.
and once we have like a better or more leaks come out about like how they're doing it.
Mhm.
But we'll see. I mean, it's a funny, I guess, type of movie they're gonna make. I mean, if you notice all the games besides Five Nights at Freddy's and Dungeons and Dragons, most of the games like the movie Sonic
Mhm.
was comedic, and I mean, we'll see. Like I said, we'll start seeing more stuff a little closer because we just started getting leaks, so
Yeah.
we'll see more next couple months, maybe 2 months
I would
from
say,
now.
yeah, next few months we should be getting a trailer at some point, but or a bit early since it's about a year's worth away. But to continue on to our next topic, on to League of Legends in the LCK, the Korean League. T1, the current reigning world champions, got dropped to the losers bracket in their finals
Trash.
for to
They got
qualify.
trash.
Yeah,
But this is before like obviously I was just trolling, but yeah, they got smacked.
they got
Go ahead. Here's what you're
3
saying.
0 by Hanwha Life Esports, and then they recently, as of yesterday, they 3 0 Damwon Kia to move on to the losers finals, and
They'll play the winner of Genji
which is
or
Hanwha Life again. They're playing Hanwha
okay.
Life for to
Oh,
go
they
to
already
the
okay.
finals. Yeah. Gen G's currently
Oh,
qualified for the finals, and T1 has to beat the team that just beat them that sent them to the losers finals to
okay.
qualify
All right.
for. If T1 wins this upcoming weekend, they qualify for MSI, which is good. But a lot of people don't know that the only reason T1 is in the losers bracket is because, as we've been talking about in the podcast the past few months, the Korean
Okay.
League of Legends server has been getting DDoS'd. League of Legends Korea for their LAN events has been able to fix that, but T1 themselves has been getting DDoSed at home. So whenever like Fake or whatever streams at home, his account gets DDoSed. Whenever they try to stream from anywhere else on their alt accounts, they get DDoSed. So they can't practice at all. And they're the only team that's been getting repeatedly DDoSed day by day, hour by hour, and it's clearly been negatively affecting their performance in the league. I think you wanted to add something, Angel.
Well, I was just gonna say, so as our guest right here, he doesn't really watch League, but we're gonna he's learning while we're explaining it. So obviously T1 world champions last year. They're like
Okay.
the they're like the they're like the most favored team in League of Legends of all time. And Faker's like the goat of that sport. Like no one will ever catch up to the amount of how much he's won. Like not even close. No one all the players close to him catching up are all retired already, and he's still playing. And yeah, he won a gold medal recently, and he exempted military service, so he's gonna be playing more. So just know that Faker, when we hear Faker or you hear us read like anything, that's the goat of like the face of esports in a way too.
Yep.
Hmm.
So not just like his league, but in the face. Like if you think of his face, he's the face.
Yeah.
He
You said
started out
you
as
said
a
the
school.
group.
Well, go ahead,
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was gonna
No,
say you
go.
said the group is called the T1, right?
T1, yeah.
T1.
I did a little bit of research, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't really, like I said, I don't understand too much about it. I'm still learning about it.
Mm.
But they're a Korean group, correct?
Yeah, I can go into more. So T1 Esports, they used to go by SKT Esports, which was South Korean Telecom Esports. They're owned by a
Okay.
telecommunications company in South Korea. They've been in league since 2013. They're the only organization to win
Fine.
four, not five, would have been five, but
Oh,
four
Kevin,
world
four.
championships, multiple other championships, uh, Olympic gold medal, bunch of other stuff. So like when
Mhm.
you think of what's the team that defines not just league esports but all of esports, it's T1. And when you think of the player like Angel said that defines all of esports, it's Faker because he's been playing for 11 years. He has 10 plus trophies and too many events and he's still
And
going.
so you might think 10 is not a lot, but in that there's only 2 tournaments a year. 2 or 3, or is it 2?
There's 2 international tournaments.
And anyone in the Korea League or the China League are gonna win it, but mainly Korea dominates everybody. But so it's pretty hard for them to win, but they won at a beginning. But I mean,
Yeah. No, I get you. Like I said, there's still a lot I need to learn, but I kind of did a little bit of research on it, not too much.
Yeah. But like you said, they were getting DDoS. You know what DDoS is?
Yeah.
Or
The information are getting leaked.
Yeah, so they can't really practice, and the only practice they're getting right now is from the matches, I would assume.
Basically, yeah.
And these are like the best players in the world playing this. So for a team to not get any practice, and your practice is coming through the tournament,
Yes, it's not good.
It's not good, but I mean they're a really good team, so they usually play good. But I mean,
And you still need some kind of practice. I mean, you can't just expect to go in.
Yeah, exactly. And
Right,
recently it's been iffy because Faker, for the first time in his career, Faker's known as a very nice and humble guy, but during the interview from the match that he lost, he did bring up that DDoSing as a factor that may have caused them to lose. And that one comment got him a lot of hate that he had to walk back the comment, and people are like, why? He's being very reasonable, he's giving a legitimate reason. And in Korea, esports are very passionate, so fans like straight up go and protest teams when they like lose games. And I think Angel remembers this. Before, when T1 wasn't performing well, about 2 years ago, fans would send trucks that have signs like calling out players and coaches. And this happened again shortly after this match, with trucks circling the T1 headquarters in South Korea, calling out their coach, saying, "You should leave, you should get fired, why aren't you doing anything about this?" When
there are death threats too. I mean, it got really bad. Like they take their sports. So yeah, players were being monitored and protected while leaving I guess the offices. And
yeah,
they take their esports seriously.
they take everything there in general, but esports is like Faker
esports is
walked
like
into an airport down there. That he's like the big celebrity. LeBron could be
esports is
next to him,
like
do wouldn't care.
football, like football for like the rest of the world for them.
It's like football, pretty much, where they're very passionate about it, and they don't really like losing when they lose.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's kind of explainable. You know, Korea doesn't have a great soccer team in general, so they kind of expect at least some kind of sport to excel, and that's what they excel in, is an esport.
Yeah.
Can't get at it too, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, I did hear about he did get critiqued. I mean, this is a player that really doesn't really voice much. He's just a very calm and chill person. So when the face of your league is complaining, then that means there's something wrong and that needs to be dealt with. Because there's no way only one team is suffering through this, and there's nothing no one else could do about it to help them. And this is like costing them a big opportunity, especially. I mean, obviously good practice, and obviously prize winnings. I mean that affects a lot too, because the prize difference from second and third is a big jump. So obviously these guys are playing for. I mean, this is their careers too, but so when not having practice, I mean they're pretty much. I mean they're frustrated. They lost. I think they should have beat the team. They should have beat the team with ease. But because they had no practice, I mean they got smoked. And you could tell that they were frustrated from the cameras, like the way they were like, because they just, I mean, you can't really blame the players for not playing well when there's really nothing they could do to get good practice. They tried everything, different accounts, nothing, and there's league needs to figure out something that they could do to prevent DDoSing on these guys, because it's weird because these guys have a different like ranking system for just pros. I mean, you told me that, right, Mokhtar?
It's pros and high rank people who've reached the top rank in the region.
So like,
there's like guys, top 200 players in Korea are basically on the server,
and pretty much the best. Like they're majority of them are pros or AMs. So Yeah, they have their own like separate ranking. They're just there and they play against those people. So yeah, there's nothing much they could do besides the practice you're getting right now, and because there's not that many teams left, they could only practice, and you don't want to practice with the people that are left. So
Yeah.
um, so we'll see when do they play? They play
This
soon,
Saturday,
right?
upcoming Saturday, to
Uh,
qualify for
so,
the grand finals.
so when this goes live, this will go live Thursday. We're recording this on a Monday, April 8th. So Saturday they'll play early morning.
Yeah.
What time
Early
is it?
morning
Like
our time Eastern. It's like,
what is 6, 7?
no, it'd be like 3 a.m. Eastern time. Because remember,
What I
3
saw them.
is ahead.
Oh wait, so they must have played like the last match. I watched because I woke up and they're barely starting the match.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like at 7. So but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I probably won't be up. Mock Trap probably be up for that. So
Maybe. We'll see.
but yeah. Other than
Yes.
that, sucks for them. No one wants to get DDoS, especially when you're trying to prepare for a big tournament, and especially you got to compete against the best players in the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
And
all I
then
gotta say.
we'll move on to our last topic for the esports gaming side. None of us here really play Apex, but it's about Apex. Apex had an update recently to its general player base and ended up breaking accounts really badly. Apparently, people had many of their levels removed, they had their items gone, their badges removed, and some people had their entire progress completely deleted. I feel like ever since we started talking about Apex on this podcast, it's mostly been negative things from the game getting hacked, updates breaking matches, and now it just progressively gets worse and worse. It's kind of taken the spot of us talking about Halo Infinite with its updates breaking every single time it would release a new update. So, what do you think is going on with Apex? What is EA doing right now?
Well, you just said it yourself. It's EA. I mean, if
Yeah.
that's the company that's producing it, you can't be too surprised about it.
Mhm.
They haven't released a really good game in a while, honestly.
Mhm.
So they're mainly based off of money base, and you know this. They don't really care too much on fixing the games. Whatever's going to get their pockets fatter, they're going to do it.
Mhm.
So I'm not surprised that it's happening. I know Apex has been on a kind of downfall since I think what 2020, 2019. I don't remember exactly when the peak of it was.
Mhm.
It was up there for like a year or so, and then I guess after other games started coming out, I know Warzone, once that kind of got a little bit better, people would rather go play that.
Mhm.
Fortnite has pretty good updates from the past couple years or so, improving it. So I guess people are just getting tired of the game, and if EA doesn't fix it, they're not going to want to go back. And I feel like eventually they're going to shut down the servers. They're going to just close out the game and figure something else out to do.
Interesting. Okay. What
Sure,
about you,
that's
Angel?
your take. I mean, uh, the day that this update came out, I thought it was supposed to fix like the issue they were having. I don't think they did. Ended up fixing it. I think it just made the game worse.
Mhm.
Honestly, this game has been out for a couple of years now, and a lot of people who stayed playing the game, even from its to the lows, they've lost a bunch of progress. And we know, I mean, from what it sounds like, it's really hard to get these. What are they called? Home roams or what are the? I don't know exactly the
Heirlooms, I think.
heirlooms or something like that.
Yeah.
So these are like the rarest things in the game to get, and there's a bunch of characters have their own special one, and
Mhm.
hopefully it's just a bug, and they, I mean, but it's an EA company that are doing this, so
Yep.
they need to fix this as quick as possible because a lot of you're losing your fan base. People are not going to want to play your game if this is going to be the issue. Um, I don't know if the players that or the people that have lost their account like progression is are still playing or they restarted from scratch.
Yep.
Um, but Apex has been on a recent like has been had bad press recently, especially on their esports side and especially now this is a game. This is game breaking for everybody. And you could tell it really is starting to frustrate people. Um, yeah, it's I mean, it would suck just all the progression you made over the last 5 years, and that's like saying like our Fortnite accounts being randomly reset without like no warning.
Hmm.
So those are like hundreds. Some people have thousands of dollars worth of like items, and it just disappears, and there's no like answers for them or anything um for them to like figure out or like what to do or
some kind of just kind of like help or reward towards them for losing the stuff that they lost.
Compensation to give them.
Compensation, yeah.
or at least return all their items and like obviously rework your progression back, but at least return all the items they lost. I mean,
Yeah.
I think less people would be less angry if they just got all the items they bought or earned back, and if they have to start from one, that's okay.
Yep.
But I mean, as long as I mean, it's better if people. I mean, we talked about it. I mean, we remember when they released like this exclusive in-game bundle that was like almost. How much was it worth?
It was insanely expensive. I think. Do I still have it in the notes? Is a question.
Was it? It was thousands, no?
It was a couple $1,000, which was wild.
And it was for in-game. It wasn't even like an item you could get out of game. It was an in-game item. I think it was 50,000. No, it sounds way too low. No,
I don't remember. It was how long ago was that?
I don't remember, but it was like a bundle that. So obviously people were pissed off and they didn't bother changing it or making it fair.
Yeah.
So from that point, Apex is all of we've heard is bad news. Hackers joining into the middle of pro tournaments. Obviously this is like a big deal. You don't even have to play Apex knowing that your progression and your rare items are just gone, and they have no answer for you, and it sucks.
It's EA. They're hiding behind the room. They don't want to show their face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, hopefully they.
Also, Brian brought up a good point about it's EA. We kind of don't expect better from EA. EA's dropped the ball on so many games in the past decade.
Madden.
Madden. I'm not. You guys played the Star Wars Battlefront games?
No,
the second one I did.
2 hours, and I said nope.
No, actually, I remember I played both.
You played both? Okay. Do you remember when the servers were like really bad and it took them years to fix it? And then by the time it was fixed, they dropped support for the game.
Yeah.
EA is not.
It was terrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you even want a recent example,
Go for
Battlefield was it 2042?
Oh my god!
I forget the most overhyped game. Extremely overhyped. Expecting it to be great, just for the servers to be garbage at the beginning. The game in general being super buggy. It took them almost, was it a year and a half, 2 years to finally get something right with that game and fix it.
And
even then.
I mean, they had already started announcing a new Battlefield in the works, so it was pretty bad. I think they announced making a new one after like the first month of the game had just came out. So we kind of expected that, and because of that, I'm not surprised that they're going through issues with other games.
I feel like this is their biggest game. Like they can't be dropping the ball on Apex.
No, yeah, Apex is their esports scene.
Exactly. That's where they have their biggest demographic. Besides the sports games, if you throw away those sports games, because sports games are always going to be successful, people are always going to want to buy the newly updated rosters of games. But if you're talking about outside of that, you don't really see no other game that's as successful. I guess Battlefield had its time. It had its prime. Especially, I think it was a Bad Company 2. That's when it was really up there in peak. But after that, you just can't drop the ball, honestly. As a company, you can't do that.
Yeah. I found the Apex item. It was a $300 event loot box. $300 for a loot box?
No. There was one that was.
There was one that was more expensive, but there's this other one that kicked off in January that was already expensive. So EA's trying to milk this game as much as they can, probably before it dies, like Brian said. Apex will probably have longer support than most EA games, but there's going to probably be a point where they're like, we'll make an Apex 2, so Apex 1 will kick the bucket and end its term there or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. EA's just been unfortunate. It's kind of a shame on us gamers, because we do keep giving them money and they keep making these games, but we kind of just...
Look, the thing with this is no company like for example, FIFA. No other company can't make FIFA because EA has the right, or like they had the rights.
Yeah,
So
they had the right.
it was the only company producing the game
Mhm.
because they bought the right. So obviously, if you wanted to play FIFA, you had to buy the EA game, and it was annoying. So
I know
because of
eFootball came up for a bit,
Mhm.
and it's
yeah,
still doing it. Well, it was called PES at the time. It was PES, and I mean, I feel like they've gotten a. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
you
off.
know,
I kind of got trained off with my thought. Pez is starting to make a better name with them, especially now that they recently changed their name to eFootball. I know that they're now partnered with a couple teams from different countries. I know the biggest one that I know of is the Mexican League. They're partnered with Liga MX now,
Mhm.
so all the teams that are in that league from Mexico are on that game. It's kind of their face. But I know they have the Italian league on their game as well. I don't think Premier League nor the Spanish league is sponsored yet. So
no, they originally had. I think that was their first one that they had originally, the Spain one. Because I do remember like all they would show is like gameplay of like Barcelona, Real Madrid, like all these
yeah,
leagues. So they originally had it, and then I think the following year they had just Juventus.
Mhm.
yeah,
That's why Juventus
Juventus.
wasn't in FIFA. They were called by what are they called?
It,
Puma
I forget that. You talking
FC.
about
It
what
was
FIFA
some.
called them?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
the
don't.
exact name because Pez bought the rights of Juventus.
Mhm.
They couldn't be in the game. They were called by something else. They had a whole different jerseys, this and that, and yeah.
Yes,
So
but they're making a name for themselves, which is good. Now that EA has kind of lost the right towards the name of FIFA, there there's other companies that can finally make a game that might be worth it.
Mhm.
I think, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. I mean, I remember rumors hearing them because no FIFA was made this year. I think they're going to be making it. Oh no, it wasn't made last year in 23.
Mhm.
They might be making one this year, but I think 2K is the developer of it.
Mhm.
But still, 2K doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to
they
sports
don't
games
either,
Yeah.
because
and
the NBA games as well suck. But it is what
but
it is.
yeah, but since 2K makes besides 2K and NBA Live, you don't really
Well,
see
NBA
them.
Live is dead. That
Okay,
doesn't
so
exist no more.
besides 2K making them, that's the only game people are gonna buy. So because it's the only game they can buy because it's the only thing on the market.
Yeah.
And I get why these companies do that. They buy the rights of, I guess you would to the NBA or the teams or the leagues,
Yeah.
so that no one else can use them, and they force people to go buy their games to play with those teams. If you're a fan of those teams and you want to play the game, you have to buy a different game.
Yeah.
And
It's scummy, but it is. It's
but
true.
it's business. Business is what matters, and it's the only way they're gonna make money. Um, it's like so. I mean, obviously, went away from the topic, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's a trend with EA. It's just an EA needs to figure out, and I don't think it's gonna change anytime soon. I think it's been like this for years, and what they just went whatever works now. They don't need to fix it. I mean, FIFA. I mean, they still have the issues with the CPUs. Obviously, we've complained about it for years.
Mhm.
They go from being shit, I mean, it's like anything, any game in general is they try to update the game and they fix something, but we all know what happens. They end up breaking something else. It doesn't matter what game it is. You know, they end fixing one thing, ends up breaking something else, and
Yeah. I feel
it's
like once we
always
start hurting their pockets, that's where they're gonna start realizing that maybe if they start fixing their game to the right way,
Yeah.
people are gonna be wanting to buy them. They're gonna be willing to buy them. But if we keep buying them and just keep submitting ourselves to whatever they want, we're not gonna get any kind of
they're
change
not
with
gonna
them.
change.
Yep.
And but they don't seem like they're gonna care if we stop buying the game. They're just gonna hold out, and then they're gonna make people want to. I mean, they're gonna make people want to buy it. So I mean, hopefully they try to do something about it. Especially with Apex, I mean, Apex is a really good game. I think it's. I mean, I played a little bit. I think it's really good.
Mhm.
It just sucks, that they're not really maintaining the game well anymore. So hopefully the people that lost all their stuff, who contributed back into the topic,
Yep.
they end up getting their stuff back or get something in return. or just something to make up for what they lost, and it sucks, but
Mhm.
just more so EA got to do better in general, and yeah,
Yeah, we just
yeah.
gotta wait and see if Apex can turn around after a month of constant bad news. But yeah, we just gotta wait and see. But I think that closes out our gaming category. Transition to general news. We'll start off with the big topic that happened today, like Angel said on April 8th. If you're located in North America, we had our most recent solar eclipse. The path of totality kind of crossed Middle America from southwestern Mexico up through Texas, Missouri, all those states through New York, up all the way to Newfoundland and Canada. Us here, we're like in the Georgia area. We had a very, very, very close partial eclipse. It was about 85 to 90% of the moon obscured the sun. So if you're able to watch it, it was great as usual. I'm not sure if you two were outside during the event, but if you you noticed that. No, you guys weren't. Oh no, Angel was.
I was
Brian
at
was.
work.
Yeah, I was not. Yeah, I was stuck indoors.
Oh no. But like even if it's not a full, like I'm sure you guys know, like during a full eclipse, like the sky turns like nighttime, the sun is like a black dot and you can like take off your glasses and look. But since we had a partial eclipse, what happens is that the sky did noticeably dim, and you could also feel that the temperature has dropped quite a bit. So the lighting outdoors was very weird, and like Andal started to act a little bit odd and whatnot. So it's a very otherworldly feel, you know?
Bro,
Experience,
it
yeah.
felt like a filter was placed on for like 2 seconds and disappeared, and I was like, "Whoa!"
No, yeah, exactly.
So, so I'm gonna say from my perspective, so since I work outside in construction, we started noticing it that the shadows started like so. It was like 1 in the afternoon. Remember, this is like I guess pitch day. The sun is bright out, and it was hot.
Yeah.
And all you see is the material start like showing a shadow, and it starts getting like it starts dimming down. I'm like, oh hell, this is where it ends, doesn't it? But it started getting dark, and then it didn't since it was like a partial. We didn't it really didn't get really dark, but obviously it felt like the sun was setting but like really early, and then and it did feel colder. So yeah, it felt weird, and
Yeah.
Isn't this the second one like that's happened like really recently? Because I remember, I swear I remember.
No,
During high school we had one.
I was going to bring that up actually. So this is the second partial solar eclipse that our area in Georgia has received. The first one was in 2017 in August, so it was during high school. We had the time the eclipse happened, they let us the school out early, and we went off to the stadium to watch it. They had glasses and whatever. So and
Yeah.
that one was a little bit closer because we were closer to the path. So that one was like 90-95%. So it was a bit of a cooler event, but it's still cool. Georgia won't be getting a we will be getting a total solar eclipse, but in the year 2078. So
Yeah,
we
me
will
not gonna
all
be here.
be old people, you know? But we won't have to go anywhere for it to go pitch black anything as long as we stay where we are. But if you want to see other total solar eclipses, there's going to be other ones next year in Spain if you guys want to go out towards Europe. But
no, we're good.
yeah, for us in our region, we gotta wait a little bit. But besides that, yeah, like, it's a cool event that happens very rarely if you're lucky. I think they said every location on Earth gets at least one every 300 years. And considering that we've already had two partials and we'll get a solar 50 years down the road, we're in a lucky spot, you know?
Yeah.
My boss told me that he's now experienced three.
Three, wow, okay.
He's 50, so he's experienced three of them.
Mhm.
He does remember. I do remember when we had it. It was like the weirdest thing ever. All I remember is walking out of the door, it's like, here's your glass. And I think I do have them somewhere. I just don't know exactly where I put them. They're in a box somewhere. I still have the glasses,
Mhm.
but I just don't know where exactly. I don't think they're gone. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that
But
was like what? That was seven
it was
years ago.
cool. It was cool though. It was I guess you can't say it's a first time experience because it's the second one we experienced, but I think the one when we were in high school was a lot more better because it got really dark. and I mean, you're with a bunch of your friends,
Yep.
cool friends, so it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing trying about it anymore.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's a weird time. I mean, but
Yep.
it's cool.
Yep.
I don't know.
On to our next topic. There was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake near New York that had its epicenter in New Jersey. As we know, we live on the East Coast, so we're not used to earthquakes. But when they do happen in our area, you can feel them far. So people in New
Yeah.
Jersey, since it happened there, but you could feel it as far north as like parts of Canada, as far south as like near DC. And fortunately, it was a weak earthquake, so there was like no major damage or whatever. Nobody really got hurt, so it was very fine for the most part. But they did bring up there's a fault line not too far from Georgia towards the west near Missouri. That one, if it has a big earthquake, us in Georgia will feel it. Lots of our places aren't built to withstand earthquakes, so
we're not. This Georgia not even able to maintain a goddamn bit of snow. You think quake is gonna, dude?
I think we're built for tornadoes. That's really what our main concern is here in Georgia is tornadoes. But those normally happen in the countryside. You don't see them really happening in the city side. So I remember I don't it was a good amount of years ago. I think I was maybe 9 years old
Mhm.
when we did have our earthquake here in Georgia. And it was very small. It wasn't like everything was shaking.
I'm pretty
But
sure
I
I was
can see.
asleep when that shit happened.
But
But go ahead. I didn't mean to get you up. Go ahead.
But I remember seeing that my TV was shaking, and I was looking at my mom. I was like, "Is it just me, or is the TV just shaking on its own?"
Mhm.
And we started looking around the room, and we started realizing that not only the TV was shaking, everything was shaking. And we were like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure this is an earthquake." But again, it was like super super light, so it just looked like we were on a boat. We were kind of like rocking left and right.
No, yeah, exactly. We get pretty weak ones. The most recent one in our area was 2021, and the epicenter, ironically, was about 500 feet from my house. If you look in the maps, so that was kind of funny. But we're due for a big one in the next 50 years, and this big one could be like magnitude 7 or 8, which could
Okay,
like people will die. Is just what I'm gonna
I'm moving.
say.
So move
I'm
out
moving
of
to
Georgia,
Mexico.
then come back once the thing hit.
Like I'm just saying that there's not really any way for us to prepare because
No.
our stuff is already here. Just know that if you do get an earthquake warning in the next 50 or so years, take it seriously because it will be a mess. But
Like Angel said, our buildings are made for this. We just, for some reason, don't like planning for events. We just
Bro,
roll with it.
hey, man, we build cheap and we build for the short term, which is that's just our way of
bro,
living.
Georgia
I
weather
guess.
sucks. It's made for like shit weather but not like catastrophic stuff.
Yeah.
You
Besides
know, we
tornadoes.
like. I like to call it that we're bipolar. That's what our state is. Our state is a very bipolar state.
Hmm.
Today it may be nice and hot. Tomorrow is going to be nice and cold.
Bro, it could
After
be
that, you might get rain.
Yeah.
bro, it could be 40 degrees in the morning and then like 90 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's a good
bro,
description.
there could, like he said, there could be a blizzard in all day. The next day could be the sunniest and the hottest day of the year.
Hmm.
I'm like, what in the world? Like, you feel like the world is ending in Georgia every day.
And
Hmm.
that's what happens every time it snows here. Because it'll snow, it'll look heavy, it'll look pretty, it'll stick, and then the next morning it's just grass.
Yep.
You just no more snow.
Don't even get a chance to enjoy it.
I think that's my favorite type when snow melts in Georgia and the next day is just sunny. I like that day. It's
No, man,
just
you gotta have time to
cold.
enjoy your snow. Go out and build snowman, snowball fights, or whatever.
So the last time we had that was what, 2014?
You mean Snowmageddon?
Last time we had
No.
heavy snow was 2014, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I
at least
remember from
where I am, Athens got snow 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yep.
Yep,
Basically, you're up north, right? You're closer up north.
just barely.
Still,
Yeah,
still, and I
it's
know
still
we
been
don't get that.
it's been a good bit since we had like an actual good snow in our area though. So
Yeah.
I hope it'll happen again, but we will see. But yeah, To move on to our next topic, we're going to talk about Chance Perdomo. He was a young American British actor who unfortunately passed away at the age of 27 about 2 weeks ago. He passed away, I believe you noted, by a motorcycle accident. And he was most well known for starring in the spin-off series of The Boys known as Gen V. He played the character Andre Anderson in all of Season 1. It was most likely due to be in Season 2. It was, as we know with many celebrity deaths, unfortunately, a freak accident. Motorcycle accidents are unfortunately not uncommon because people can't drive, unfortunately. And motorcycles are very, when they do get into accidents, it's very hard to survive because of how exposed the passengers and drivers are, even if they are wearing all their protective gear and helmets and whatnot. So, young aspiring actor, very unfortunate that his life did come to an end this soon, considering that he didn't even get to hit 30 yet. If you two know anything else about him, what he starred in.
Not much. I could say a young actor barely trying to make a name for himself, and which took him way too soon. Yeah, especially a motorcycle accident. So sad, really sad. I mean, 26 young. I mean, that's really young. You barely even try to live in life. Not even that young yet. So
Yeah.
sucks. You gotta. Yeah, I don't got much. So it really sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, what Angel's saying. I mean, I don't know too much about it. I didn't even get to watch the show. You know, I should have. I like the boys, but I never really got to it. But it's always sad to see whenever an actor dies, especially at a really young age. When their career is looking like it's going to be good, they have this sudden death that most people obviously don't expect, and it's sad because if you think about it, I mean, I'm 22, he's 26. What is that, like a 4 year difference between him and I?
Yeah.
It's not like he's way older than me. He's close to my age. So to think that somebody like that just died and can't experience the rest of their life, their 30s, their 40s, and their 50s, it's just saddening. I know we've had a lot of actors like that have died, especially at really young ages. Um, and with really good careers looking forward for them. But like I said, it just happens. Unfortunately, that's what life is. It's something that we can't control as somebody, uh, but it's tragic to see whenever we do see it.
No, yeah, exactly. Life happens, and it can bring you sometimes a lot of greatness. It can unfortunately bring you sometimes a lot of pain, and that's why you have to treasure every day that you're alive, because you never know when that time will end. But condolences to Chance Perdomo and his family and friends that were close to him, and I'm sure that the boys and especially the Gen V cast will make sure to remember him going forward due to his very involved role in that season. But to move on to more positive news, Russ Cook, also known as Hardest Geezer, completed a 352-day trip from South Africa all the way to the most northern point of Africa in, give me one moment, Tunisia. He has been running 352 days straight, raised over $700,000 for charity. I'm sure most of you probably have not heard of him until a few days ago when he was very near his destination, and he just completed it yesterday, which was April 7th. I can't imagine doing something like this, crossing an entire continent, especially one of the largest continents in the world, from top to bottom to top, non-stop, on foot. I think in
No.
America we've seen people bike across America. There have been some people walking across America, but it's not as difficult. Africa, as you know, has many biomes. Some of his countries aren't as stable. So he's crossed through savannah, he's crossed through literal the Sahara Desert, through jungles and all different sorts of biomes. And it's a feat I'm not sure we'll see recreated again, but it,
Not
it
for
was
a
for
No.
a
while.
good cause. I mean, what do you guys think about it?
Uh, so I looked into it a little bit before we hopped onto the podcast. So I know he had a couple of like he had a health scares. He almost got robbed. So he went through a bit, but this is all documented live. He live streamed it, so um, don't be surprised if you see some type of documentary just randomly come out for him. I mean, I think he deserves because it's just it's a pretty big accomplishment just for someone in general. I mean, that's sounds crazy, but you could say he's been running for like a year. So
Yep.
it's pretty weird to say just saying he's been running for a year straight, or like I mean, yeah, a year straight.
No,
You could say.
yeah, 350 almost a year.
So it's a big accomplishment, and yeah, he could hopefully he could get some well-deserved year-long of rest and get their feet fixed or massaged, bro. Because I know
You gotta know he has blisters. You
he has
have to know he has blisters.
blisters, and yeah, I mean those feet might be strong as hell, or they aching.
If anything, he has to have the most toned legs in the world, considering that they have not
Oh,
had any rest at all. Also,
yeah,
like,
he have to have some strong legs.
no, that too, and like also his diet, because some days he's not going to be in the city, so he only has food that he's packed with him. Same with like water and whatnot. So I'm sure once he's comes back, they're going to be testing like everything, like what's your like body fat ratio? What's like, are you healthy after coming back after doing this for nearly a year? It's going to be, I guess, an interesting scientific experiment when he comes back and gets his checkups, but also just the accomplishment of, hey, I walked across the entirety of Africa by myself.
He is 27.
27. Oh,
So
wow.
That
he
man's a
started.
trooper.
Either he started this at 26. I mean, technically, I mean, depends, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be a documentary on this. There's no way there isn't.
Anything, he'll be like in the Guinness World Record books.
I mean,
Yeah,
Like,
I could see
with that record, dude, I don't think no one else is gonna even try to attempt it.
I mean, I can't imagine like us, like in 5 years, being like, let's just go walk across like America, or let's go walk across Asia. It's like,
Oh,
what?
I can't even walk 5 minutes without even not even want to go anywhere. This man did it. Did he just do it? He ran it, and he ran it for a year, almost a year. So,
see. I
crazy.
walked an entire day when I went to Mexico about last year, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was walking forever. Your
Mm-hmm.
legs they start getting heavy, and it starts to hurt a lot doing it,
Yep.
especially with blisters. It just makes the task a whole lot difficult. Uh, but like I said, when I was doing it, I thought I was crossing an entire continent too. But it was only a couple of miles. But
Mm-hmm.
kudos to him because I don't know. He's a better man than me. I'll tell you that. You're not gonna catch me doing all that. I cannot.
That man must have some good ass lungs, dude. 'Cause holy
Shoot,
shit.
he's gotta have good ass everything, not just lungs.
No, yeah, exactly,
You ever-
exactly. It is,
Oh,
it is wild, but
you missed out on the part that he raised money for charity because of it too.
no, yeah,
That too. That too. That too. That too.
He did it for charity. I think he did it for charity. I don't
no,
know.
he did. It was all for charity. That's why he raised $700,000.
Good for him. Good for him.
Kudos for that man.
Yeah,
Just to
exactly.
go even do it. I mean, that's impressive. So
Yep, but
crazy, but we'll see a documentary come out of it.
exactly.
And yeah,
And for
but
those watching the podcast, this is the end of our general notes. As we did with the last guest that we had, we'll have an extra episode where it was like Conquest specials. So Sean's episode was Conquest Specials 1. We'll get a Conquest Specials 2 coming out shortly after this video, which we'll talk with Brian, Mr. Fearless, about how he got into the org and stuff that he did and whatnot. But this ends for this Conquest episode. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you guys next week as always. Like I said, it's your host, SMGFrenzy, joined with...
Brian.
And
Oh.
oh yeah, go for it.
go ahead.
Brian, Mr. Frijoleros.
Yep. And
And assassin, like always. But with that being said, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you know when we upload. Follow the links down in the description and go back and watch the other videos on the channel.
You
Got
better.
good stuff coming
If
up.
not, I'm gonna be underneath your bed watching you. You better watch it.
You heard him. Also,
I
Brian's socials and stuff will be included in there, so make sure to give him some love on TikTok. Also, thank you guys for the support on our recent Halo video. This is our second most watched video on the channel of all time. I don't know how you're getting the thumbs up things to appear on your screen, but like Angel said, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching episode 22, and peace.